Wow! Welcome back to the Red Ones Go Fast. Old Big Mac here, and it's time for a hobby hangout. We are trying something brand new. We are streaming live to you from the laptop. We've been having some issues with this new laptop, trying to do filming and things like that, but it should be really, really good at live streams because look, no hands. Now I can actually sit and paint while I'm chatting with everybody and run other things through the phone over here. So that's what we're doing. We'll see if anyone shows up. I can show you what's going on here on the paint desk. Obviously, we are working on kill rigs. We got to figure out where the camera is on this. There we go. Working on the kill rig still. So that's what we're doing. Hang out here, see who shows up. So, howdy, howdy. We are doing a hobby hangout, painting the kill rig. All right. First of all, get all my stuff out here ready to go so we can get painting. Yeah. So I've been on this kill rig. I've got all these bone pieces, and going to do a little bit of washes on them, start getting them a little more aged looking than just the plain white. Craig, how's it going, man? Keith, yep, still working on the kill rig, brother. I haven't had a chance to touch it since the last one. And I sat down to paint and I went, you know what? I got the new laptop. Let's see if it live streams better than it does videos. So that's what we're doing. We're trying it so you guys can actually see some painting going on while we're chatting. And yeah, I'm really pushing. I want to get these beast snaggers done because next year is going to be big for the armies that I collect. Death Corps of Krieg is coming out, and I've made the executive decision to replace my Imperial Guard with Death Corps. Um, Reason being, here's my here's most of my army is the old school Cadians, and I don't like them. Frankly, I hate them. I've always hated them, um, but they're really really cheap, or they were really cheap, and I was able to kit bash a whole bunch of them. So I've got a full infantry company over here, as you can see. Um, but now that there's new Cadians and these guys are starting to surprisingly get worth something as the classic ones, I've decided to kind of let them go. My Valhallans are going to stay, and they are going to become a vintage collection. So they will be um, third edition Codex compliant. That's what ours is going to be. My actual 10th edition Guard Army, all the tanks and stuff, they're all going to be the new Death Corps guys. Should have started. Craig, printing some roll leaders boxes. Oh, nice. Yeah. So yeah, I got Creed coming, and I got to do that. Um, and you guys saw on Thanksgiving, I've got all the vehicles for the guard. I'm sitting on like, well, I got the one Rugaldorn, but I think I'm sitting on 5 or 6 Lehman Russes, a couple of Chimeras. Um, the Hellhounds will stay in the Valhounds. Everything else is going to move over to the Creek. Um, so yeah, I got plenty of vehicles, but yeah, I want to get all the new Creed guys. I want to paint all of them up. Finally, get this New Year, new Army Guard thing done, because then it's Eldar, and I love Aspect Warrior Eldar. Way back in the day, Dark Eldar were my jam, and they were all right. Um, and like I like the new ones, and I like the Yanari and the pirate ones and the Corsairs and all that. But Craft World is where my heart is. Always has been. So getting all the different aspect warriors, getting all the Phoenix Lords, I want that. So with all those coming, I need to be ready for those as well. Man, I missed an entire tooth on this thing. It's still red. Ugh. My brain is so not onto this thing. It's hard painting in such spurts. Doing the infantry in those like 10 minutes a day is great. Working on the big vehicles, you tend to miss a lot of things. I got to come up with another way of getting big vehicle projects done in a limited amount of time, like I've had previously. What do we got here? Just started back to work on Mr. Harry Squigowski, the Woolly Squiggoth. Oh, nice, Keith. Very nice. Hey, have you guys seen? I've seen it on. I know I've seen it on Facebook. There's a guy that is making a squig stampa. He took a stampa and he turned it sideways and he made like a whole face for it and two legs and like it's a squig stampa. I kind of really need a squig stampa now. It's so cool. Sort of chaos night halfway pinned. Yeah, I feel you, man. These big vehicle projects, and it's funny because I love painting vehicles. Like they're my favorite thing to paint. So you'd think I'd get it done like really fast, but this isn't your typical vehicle. It's you got a ton of infantry guys just sitting on it, right? It's got to deal with those. And then you got the giant squiggy, you got to deal with him. And then you've got the actual vehicle, but the vehicle is all of these exposed bits and whatnot. It's not like just big armor panels. It's not like doing Chimera. So yeah, it's really, really different. It's kind of thrown me through a loop. I've never really done anything like this. To me, this is what like an Age of Sigmar large project probably feels like doing those chariots or the dragons or whatnot. Like you end up having a lot of these other little bits or like random riders and hangers on and things that just kind of take a long time because they're not what you normally paint. Lots of bits to make a whole. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. A lot of bits to make a whole. I am working on an awful lot of bits here. And sooner or later, I seem like, I've already done this step on. Ugh. So of it. Get this stuff going here. I think what I might do is I should just pick up one piece and just work on it until it's done, and then move on. And then I know I've actually completed something. I think that's what I'm gonna do. All right, let's see. I got stuff laying around everywhere. Top tip for you if you're looking for an off-white creamy color, don't like any of your options in Games Workshop and whatnot. Tamiya Deck Tan XF55. This stuff is amazing. Giant bottle is like $2, $3 instead of the 8 or 9 Citadel goes for. And yeah, creamy and smooth. Keith, I've seen I can't place what he used for the legs. Oh yeah, the legs on that squish stuff. I haven't figured it out either. I because the Stompa legs themselves they're too short. You can't make them work. I think it might be Gorgonaut legs, which would make sense because you could also use some of the Gorgonaut pieces to make the squig face. But yeah, I really need to like spend some time actually researching that thing because it looks so stinking cool. Hey, Eidolon, how's it going, man? Just bought your second kill rig, going to be a lot of minute. Yeah, dude, these things they are a ton of work. I think it's going to be worth it though. Like the presence on the tabletop and in the collection is very, very cool. Um, and I do like as much as I dislike the Games Workshop paint scheme. I think that my paint scheme, um, not that my paint quality is higher, but like my chosen colors and stuff, it just looks cooler. So I'm really happy with that. Okay, there's that one missing bone piece. Now I can put that away and be done with that. Oh, Steak Shop, what's up, brother? You have one live? Yeah, I feel like I've been to a bunch of yours. Oh, yeah. I had some time on a Monday night, and I had the laptop, and I figured, you know what? Let's see if it works. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, at least I'm still going to paint my stuff. But I'm glad that it's working. All right, I need to find. Hold on, the computer is sitting on all the paint because I'm an orc. I got to pick it up here to find my paint. Where are you? Nope. 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 I'm not sure where it is. Someone steal me paint. Where'd you go? Ah, found it. we'll come up with a better solution if this actually works for live streaming stuff. All right. Hey, I was looking for good old Agrex Earthshade. Maybe something like a cheap script. So, that's not a half bad idea, Keith. Hey, Matt, what's up, man? Hey, Blissful Badger, good to see you, man. Finally finished painting the commandos from October. Only took a month. Oh yeah, dude, I'm looking forward to the pictures. Dude, I caught your last video. That was really good. If you guys that don't know, Blissful Badger's got a YouTube channel that's growing nicely. He puts out some really cool stuff, and of course, Snake Shop does as well. He's the one that co-hosted the October Kit Bash Challenge. So if you guys are ever bored and there's not a Big Mech video or enough to satisfy you, you should definitely be checking out everybody else that is doing cool stuff. That's what I watch when I'm dreaming and scheming and painting and doing my own things. I'm a voracious YouTube watcher. That's how you learn things and hang out with other people. It's a lot of fun. So get all that in there. It was funny. I said I was going to work on one thing at a time, and then here I am, like, kind of popping all over the place like a ding dong still. Maybe I'll figure it out eventually. So the Grots asked me today what I wanted for Squigmas, and I didn't know what to tell them because all the Warhammer stuff that's coming out that I want, being the Death of Corp Creek stuff and um, the Aspect Warriors and stuff for the Eldar, that's not until next year. I'm like, what's out right now that I want? And I know I want the new Kill Team that has the Tank Busters in it. That is on pre-order right now. Or will be on order next week. I don't know if it'll actually be here by Squigmas, but I do want that. I ran into an issue today, actually. I've been subscribed to Warhammer Plus since it came out, like day one, and so now I'm in year 4, which means I can get the year 4 minis. So I went online to order the 2 minis, and they wouldn't add to my cart. Said that they were no longer available, which is weird because I could go back and buy all the old ones. I mean, I can't because I already have it. It says that you fulfilled your one order, but yeah, so I had to email GW. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Oh wow, chat's going crazy. All right, catch up with you guys. Hold on. Clean my brush. What do we got here? Adrian. Hi, what is it you're painting? I am painting the work project. I've got over 1,500 points of these beast snaggers that I've been working on for quite a while now. I did a whole bunch of them during October, but I haven't been able to finish. I've obviously made a whole bunch of videos and been working on a bunch of other projects at the same time. So I'm trying to redouble my efforts here and really focus in on getting this army done and painted because I have a bunch of new stuff that I want to do next year. Shop happens. I think I'm going to concentrate on skin, put on my greens, and paint pants for half an hour. Yep, that's how it goes, right? That's that's the progress on these guys. These guys look. All the pants are done. All the skin is done. Now I got to do everything else. So like next for me is all the metal. I got to paint all the metal. But first thing, this kill rate, it just takes up so much room on the hobby desk. I really want to get this done so that it's not here, and then I can move. That other beast I discovered is actually down here on a chair. I want to get them off of the chair so that the chair can go away, so we can have some floor space back. Some git was selling a built truck on eBay, sold for $63. Oh, but it was a battle wagon. Oh man, nicely done. Yeah, battle wagon's over $100, dude. So 63 is a great deal for a battle wagon. Nice. Oh no, what happened? Oh no. Did I cut out? All right, again, we are trying this on the new laptop. It's been a bit of an issue. I tried doing I filmed a whole video on it, and then the formatting on it. I don't know. It's a thing. So we're trying the live stream here for the first time. So yeah, if there's any issues, just let me know. If you need me to repeat anything and whatnot, I can certainly do that. Okay, painting. I got to paint. Let me paint these two guys and get them done. We've got boots, pants, belt, leather belts, metal, face. They are pretty much ready. They just need. They need this. They need the splat. Sorry, my internet was freezing there, guys. I should be the only one on it right now, but who knows what's going on. The Grots could be upstairs streaming a you know what. All right. So, blood spatter. Get yourself some flesh tears red. The blood for the blood god works too, but I like the way that this looks as dried blood. And then when you want wet, glossy blood, freshly murdered, it's the to me a clear red. That's the trick for that. So first things first, put on the dry blood. Let's see. I'll try to do this where you can see it on the camera. You want to get like in the claw parts there and just kind of go the direction of whatever it is you're killing. That looks good. And you want an old scuzzy brush that is just absolutely gonzoed. Because that makes the really cool splatter effects. Let's see if there's a way I can. There you go. See that splatter on there? That's what you can do with a really gonzoed brush. So yeah, never throw away brushes. They're always useful for something. All right, get him going. Get the blood splatter going on everybody else. If we're still on here, our chat seems to have slowed down or stopped. Hopefully we're still live. The funny thing is I could watch myself live on this while. Let's see if we can do that. I can watch myself. All right, cool. All right, good. It seems like it's working. All right, cool. Yeah, if I skip out or something, let me know in the chat if I need to repeat myself or whatever on what we're talking about. Okay, back to blood spatter. Focus, Michael. Focus. So yeah, never give up a brush. If you got one that gets all crazy looking, oh Matt, dude, thanks, brother. Much appreciated, my man. Oh hey, dude, Carl, thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Painting a storm surge right now. Yo, happy sock pocket. Nice. Storm surges are cool. One of my grots is super into Tau and has a Tau army, but he hasn't been painting quite so much lately, and he's been feeling a little down about it. And I happened to find this at Mine Taker, so I'm gonna finish fixing it up for him and give it to him in hopes that it reignites it for him, so he gets back into it. He still loves playing like Tacticus and things like that. He's just not wanting to paint. But yeah, Carl, thanks for all the orcs. Been watching over the past couple of weeks while I paint for Warhammer Fantasy Roll. Oh, roll nice, dude. Thank you, Carl. I much appreciate that. What are you painting for the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay? Trying to think what minis they have for that. But I've always been interested in doing that. The Grots and I we do D&D together, Dungeons and Dragons. So we do quite a bit of role playing here in the mech shop. They are hilarious, by the way. One of the Grots has decided that they are going to be DM, and so they set up a campaign for us, and they ran it over Thanksgiving for the first time. That was a lot of fun. If you ever want a truly psychotic adventure, let a 9-year-old be your dungeon master. it's it's an experience for sure. Looks good now. All right, cool. What detachment are the boys getting for Grotmas? Ooh, that's a good question. Actually, funnily enough, I am working with Wog Tactics to do a live stream with him where we are going to both speculate madly about this We were trying to get it set up for Wednesday, but there's some scheduling issues. It might be Friday, but that's the idea. If the orc detachment isn't out by then. Um, so I don't want to give too much away because we're still planning on doing that, and that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, I think we got a couple of options that could be really fun. Reading the ones that came out so far, we've had what, Death Guard and Dark Angels now, and tomorrow is going to be Tyranids. The Death Guard one fixed Death Guard. Their big problem is that they're too slow to really kind of do anything, and it gave them some speed and some scout and things like that are really nice, but not in an overpowered way. It was also pretty flavorful. Um, the Dark Angels one, same kind of thing. Even though Dark Angels have a bunch of detachments, they're not really very good, and they kind of found a gatey one that actually works. But you have to take Raven Wing and Deathwing and Dark Angels, which I think is really thematic and cool because that's what Dark Angels should be. So it's making me wonder if all of the detachments are going to be like that, or they're going to be kind of equal parts useful and equal parts thematic, which would be great. Honestly, they should be useful and thematic. It's a return to the flavor that's been sorely missing in 10th edition. It's been my favorite thing of all the stuff revealed, which is saying something because man, did they reveal some good stuff, and I plan on buying almost all of it. So yeah, I can't get over how good that reveal was, especially with how bad they had been up until that one. That was it's been brutal. Let's see. So my son's Tau D. Nice. I've had multiple Tau armies, one of which I completely painted. I actually did them in a pseudo Ultramarines color scheme. They were darker blue. They were more like a Crimson Fist blue with gold trim. They turned out really, really awesome. But when I think that was during 2020. I had finished painting them, and I was unemployed at the time, and so I ended up selling off my Tau army, and then had managed to piece one back together like new in the box since then, and then kind of got to a realization that I wasn't getting to them, and stupidly sold them again. So I still want to do a Tau giant robot army for myself, but for now, I can live vicariously through my garage, and we have a good time with the giant robots. Any recommendation for new painters? Have over 2,000 points of orcs. First army, don't want to run it because it's like bait. Adrian, great question. I've done a number of videos on painting, especially for newbies. My biggest thing I can give you, my biggest piece of advice is just try. The great thing about paint is you can always add more. You can always put more paint on a model. You can always touch it up. You can always go back to it later. To completely smother it in paint, really hate the look, you can strip all of the paint off and start over and not hurt any at all. Like, you can't go wrong. You can't ever break it, so to say. So paint like mad. Paint whatever you want. Paint like just put paint on the model and see where it takes you. I highly recommend doing some spray paint basing and do a little zenithal. I did a whole great big video on it with these guys actually, and then getting yourself just a couple of shades and stuff and seeing what that looks like. A simple scheme to start with just to see what it looks like and start getting it under your belt is definitely a good idea. The great thing about orcs is that they love to be dusty and rusty and muddy and um, just kind of all sorts of Mad Maxed up. So you could always make them dirty. You could always, you know, do paint chips all over them and stuff, and they're gonna look right. So yeah, don't be afraid and just go for it. Watch some videos and get some ideas and just give it the old college try. Because again, even if you manage to mess it up so bad that there's just glops of paint on it, and you're like, oh, you can't even see the details anymore, just strip the paint off and start over. Like it really is that simple. In fact, what do I have around here that I've stripped the paint? I know I've got something. Somewhere around here is an old second edition Gazwell that I've had since second, that I stripped all the paint off to start over again on. It's just super easy to do. Carl, painting people and demons in Kimperbad for a day at the Trials Adventures. Some GW, but whatever fit the characters. Nice. The When I was at Tacoma Open over the summer, the Grand Narrative event was something to behold. The cosplay that was there was absolutely amazing, and they were running some RPG sessions at night, which was really cool, like tied in. So definitely, when mine started painting, what had happened is, they'd obviously seen me painting a bunch, but we did models together, model cars, model planes, a lot of that stuff. They did a couple of Gundams. Um, they like the Gundams, but they like painting a lot more than just building, and so the Gundams didn't quite stick as well as I thought they were going to. But anyways, the Warhammer store that was by my work, um, the manager that used to be there, that store has since closed, was really really cool, and he gave me a bunch of Space Marines, the free take a mini like push fit ones, when I was telling him about my kids, and said, have each of them paint the Space Marine and then bring them all back and I'll put them in the display case. And so I did. I brought them all home, and the kids each painted one a different paint scheme. They looked through these phases where I would just pick up random Warhammer minis, Age of Sigmar, Old World, 40K, didn't matter, just random minis, and let them paint and just figure out what it is they liked. One of them really liked painting lizardmen. I mean, it's a dinosaur riding a dinosaur. How can you go wrong with that? It's very cool. One liked painting like ghouls and things. There was some Necrons there for a while that kind of scratched the itch. And then there was the Tau, and then the one really got into Space Marines and Nurgle Marines and stuff. But yeah, there's different things that they're going to like painting, different things that they aren't going to like painting. And the best thing you can do to encourage it is just let them try a bunch of different armies and a bunch of different models and figure out what it is they like, and try to get it to stick. And then just let them paint that. And, it's okay if they go through a bunch of other models and armies and factions before they figure it out, because they don't know. We don't know. I like painting all sorts of different things. I mean, orcs weren't my original first army. I've talked about that a bunch. That I started off with Space Marines, and then found Dark Eldar and a bunch of other armies, and I always started getting into orcs, and always enjoyed them. But it took a couple of years before it was like, no, this is the main army. So yeah, just something to think about. That it takes us all a while, so it's okay to let them take a while too. Oh boy, I'm getting really far behind in the chat now. What do we got here? Carl, Matt, here we go. Wow, Tactics. It's the kind of war boss doing all the reading and thinking. Yes, yes, it is. Wow, Tactics is very much the more very much a cunning individual, all about tactics and units and stratagems and how well they work together, and like what's going to be good in the meta. And yeah, it's really really interesting. I'm not a competitive player. Never. I shouldn't say never. I used to be a really competitive player, but it's been almost 2 decades now. So a lot of that um, desire to play at that level is gone. But it's still a lot of fun to see somebody else that's super into it, and just kind of get into the theory hammer, if you will. I do quite enjoy the theory hammer. All right, get our super janky brush. Get back up here. You gotta redo the jank. Make sure you. I got so much backlog. I don't know what I really want for Orcmas if they came with those Orc tank busts. Yeah, so the tank buses will be out by themselves probably next quarter. So figure spring, like March, April time. So if you don't want them right away anyway, like just wait. I want the little uh halfling sniper dudes for my guard army anyway. And then the terrain is really cool terrain. Plus, we need a lot of terrain around here with all the grots. They like having terrain to set up on and play with and whatnot. So for me, it kind of makes sense to get the whole box now. But yeah. So Adrian, Matt is saying he recommends painting the boys before you paint anything else. I will echo that for sure. The boys are simple. Um, This is a bee snag boy, but kind of same thing. You're going to have pants, boots, skin, maybe some leathers, and some metal bits. And you're going to have a bunch of them that you have to paint. So it's going to feel a little overwhelming, but each one really doesn't take that long. And the more you paint them, the more you get to know the model, the more you get to like figure out your scheme and how you're going to do it. The easier they become. And again, you can always go back. In fact, I did a whole video on going back to a squad I had painted like 5 years ago, and bringing it up to the level of all of my other squads now. So, I mean, it's a super normal thing, even once you get more advanced. So yeah, just put paint on the model. Let's see. Wookie saying, "Hey, what's up, man?" Always said the hardest part of painting is putting that brush to the plastic for the very first time. It is. It really is. The hardest thing about you know painting is just putting the brush on the model. It really, really is. Once you get going, it's easier to keep that momentum. It's just getting that first thing in the first place. Yeah, the boys don't mind a heavy hand, right? Yeah, they really don't. Like they're really hard to screw up. McFadden, painting is the one thing I struggle to commit to. I love building and get back. Dude, I feel you so hard. I have got so many undercoated models and gray models and primered models. Not a whole lot painted. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're live streaming, so I can sit here and actually paint, get some things done. I feel like learning to drive scary at first. If you bite the bullet, start making it happen, become second nature. Yeah, absolutely, we said. It will be like that. The more time you put into it, the more relaxed you get with it. The more relaxed you get with it, the kind of quicker and better it goes. The easier it is to just kind of pick it up and do it. Keith thought my arm was going to be undead. Found a big box of skellies. Sold them in time to get the money. They had Rugland's armored orcs I liked. Started paying in, look back. Hey, that's a pretty cool way to get into orcs. I was going to buy skeletons, but they ran out. I bought these guys instead. That's cool. Francis, hey Frank, tried out Pro Acryl spray paints. They haven't missed you. Oh, nice. Good to know. I'm a big proponent of good old fashioned Krylon. That's what all these guys are, but there's definitely something to be said for true hobby paints. I will say, you guys have seen my paint rack. I own a Tamiya paint rack. When I'm doing like model cars, when I want gloss paint, I will only use like Tamiya, like really high end name brand hobby style paint. So I definitely get the attraction. I just with these guys, we cover so much of that base coat up, and a little bit of texture can actually help in things like that. So regular old Krylon works for me for these guys. Okay, let's see if this guy is done. I got boots, I got pants, I got his chain, I got his skin, I got his belts. His face is done. He's got the blood splatter. I do believe we got ourselves a completed Beast Snaga rigger runner guy. I don't know what the heck you want to call him. But yeah, I think he's done. I'm gonna put him in a done pile somewhere. Put him in a done pile. I think his buddy is done too. The other one. Let's see. I got everything on the saw, his chains, his boot, his skin. Yep, he's good too. Face is looking all right on there. So those guys are done and ready to be glued on. All right, so let's move to the gunners. I think the gunners, the actual gunner guys themselves are good. It's the weapons that still need some more attention. Yeah, so I got to do the ship. That's not a thing that happens. As I spend all stream talking about how I'm going to buy all of the Death Core of Krieg and all of the Aspect Warriors for Eldar. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's all right. You guys can say I'm full of it. Full of the squigs, not. So, question for you guys. When you paint shells on your 40K minis, do you paint the shell gold or brass and leave the bullet tip silver? Or do you paint the whole thing the gold or brass color? Now, I've flip flopped over the years. back in the day, uh, when I was in the service, as you guys well, can't see it right now, but you guys know, U.S. military veteran here from the Coast Guard. Um, was a 50 cal gunner amongst many, many other jobs. But as I've aged, one, it's an extra step. But two, I think it doesn't translate well to minis, and it looks maybe a little unfinished or a little like I tried to edge highlight and just got heavy handed with it by doing all of the noses of the shells. Um, but I think that it reads better. It looks better from a tabletop distance, right? Like back here, if they're all gold or brass, like that reads to most people as, oh, those are shells. Those are bullets. Most people don't know that they're bicolored, right? Now, obviously, on bigger bullets like this, I think you could paint it the right way and it would look better. But especially on like little normal things, um, like this guy right here. This is a great example. So check this guy out. Check out his slugger here and his bullets. They are all gold because the 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 bandolier, right, that's holding all of them is silver. So if I painted the front of the bullet silver too, it would look like silver, gold, silver, gold. And as you came back here from tabletop distance, it would get really lost. I mean, look how right now, even as far away from this camera as it is, you can tell these are all gold. The bandolier has disappeared. The silver's disappeared. You still see all the gold, so it still reads as the bullets. That's why I've started doing that. What are you guys' thoughts? Uh, Gold, brass, and copper. Doesn't matter. Brass casing and steel cape. If I did care, yeah. So I actually I don't use brass or copper. I use gold. In fact, the retributor armor, the stuff that you're supposed to paint custodes or um, Age of Sigmar guys in, I think works fantastic at it. Especially if you do any kind of weathering like I do, because the weathering tones it down. And so if you already start with a bronze or a brass that's toned down and then you put weathering on top of it, it just turns into mud. So if you want it to actually still read as brass or bronze, you should start with a gold. That's a tech tip period. If you're going to do any kind of weathering, always go a step or two brighter on the paint colors then, because otherwise everything gets lost in the weathering. And then you can't actually read the right color anymore. Silver if there's an ammo clip belt. Okay. Seven coats in three colors. So you're not doing the tip silver. Oh, Snake Shop, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to ruin that for you. The really fun thing is when you get into like tracer rounds and things like that, you could do, every fifth tip red for incendiary or something like that. Just saying there's different things out there. The one that killed me, and again, you guys remember I was a scale modeler long before I was into Warhammer. I would build airplanes, right? And all of the reference photos you would see of American military aircraft, the missiles, right? The sidewinders and whatnot, they would have two blue stripes on them. And so in my young age, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make my model super duper accurate. I'm gonna paint those blue stripes on every single missile on this thing. And I did. I had a model that I was painting for a competition for one of my early competitions, and I did. I painted two blue stripes on every single honking missile on that contraption. Only to go to the contest and find out that two blue stripes means it's a training missile and a dummy. It's not a live round. Live rounds have one yellow stripe and one brown stripe. So people talk about train guys being rivet counters, but that's what plane guys do. Is what color is the stripes on your missile? And yeah, so I had to like go home and repaint the two blue stripes on like 2 dozen missiles from blue to yellow and brown to make it accurate to live rounds instead of practice rounds. Because apparently, the U.S. military, when they take photos of their airplanes for propaganda purposes, don't use live rounds. Who would have thought? So yeah, there's all sorts of dumb dumb things you can get into if you really want to go down a rabbit hole. All right, let's see. He doesn't have any other bullets on him, so I think his bullets are done. I don't think these guys have any. Yeah, because they don't have any guns. So what are the people into Warhammer? It was definitely a thing. But then I joined the service, and I swear everybody was into Warhammer. And this was again 25 years ago when Warhammer wasn't nearly as big as it is today, and it was actually shocking how many people were into it. There's definitely the Venn diagram of those two things has a lot of overlap, at least in the United States. That is definitely a thing. I don't know that I want to put any. I know he's got wires all over him, but none of his wires are bare. So, like on my Gazgul, right? You know, Gazgul's got the wiring that goes down to his power claws. There's like bare spots where the insulation's been worn through that I've painted gold so you can see the gold wiring underneath. There's no real bare spots on the wiring for the Were Boy, so I don't think I want to put gold on. It's just going to start muddying it, right? It's just more things. I just want to do the shells gold. I don't want gold detailing. Trying to save my that. All right, I'm good with that. Balthazar Gold, as Painting Face puts it. Yeah, Balthazar Gold is a good color. My Grots have it over on their table right now. Um, I've used that quite a bit on some other projects that are not the orcs. Oh, hey Dan, what is up, man? It's good to see you, buddy. What you working on tonight? McFadden, fine. 50-50 mix of silver and brown contrast makes for a nice bronze copper metal. Ooh, I'll have to try that. That's a good tip, McFadden. That is fun. Shell casings will go back with gold on top of brass. They're done. Done. Like literally done. We are sticking them in the completed section. Worked on this guy, did the shells. I think I got a couple more touch-ups to do to him, and he's done. Let's work on rocket launcher guy. So the missile on it ends up looking very Acme with the orange fins. I don't know whether I should paint the rocket white and really lean into it or not. You guys, let me know what you think while I work on the rest of it. Looks like there's this like ribbon string thing, bungee cord wrapped around it. What color I want to paint that? I think I might just do black, honestly. I think just some black. Beast Boss and a Pain Boss, yeah. The Pain Boss is a super fun kit, man. It is so much fun. It has got so many greebly bits in it. Um, yeah, I need to finish working on him too. In fact, that's what I was working. I keep getting distracted by him when I should be finishing the kill rig. But yeah, very very cool model. Squads of beast snagas. Having another beast boss on foot would be really nice for gameplay. I do want to pick up the beast boss on foot. That would be a good. Maybe that's what I should tell the Grots what I want for Squigmas. Give me a beast boss on foot. That's something I actually need, and it isn't too hard to find or too much money. That'll be a good one to put on my Squigmas list. I like that. Lean into the cartoony. Absolutely. Like I said, especially if you're weathering, because remember when you weather, you tone down all the values that are already on the model. And so if you're starting off with the values where they're supposed to be and you tone them down, now the whole model just looks muddy. You don't have any definition to it. So you got to paint the values kind of up here. You got to make it like more bright and more. Francis Patriot Batter. I visited once at a small version of their layout. So in the corner with some Dice Imperial Guard models. Yep, absolutely. I have played Warhammer in 7 different foreign countries in the military. It is definitely a thing, and most of them don't involve a full actual things. But as long as you got a couple of dice and a couple of figures, um, I distinctly remember Tapatio had these like short fat bottles back in the day. Tapatio dreadnoughts were a thing for sure in my unit. All right, get the black on here. It's gonna tone down that wire. It's gonna make that look a lot better. What else we got? That thing. Get its handle there. That works. Yeah, so like I said, I'm trying to get this kill rig done because it just takes up so much space on the model desk, and then I can knock out a bunch of these other little projects. I'm really trying to get these bee snaggers done. I started building them this year, started in January. Um, so if I can get them painted before the end of the year, it will truly be a new year, new army success. Now, just gotta figure out what I want to do with this chain. It looks good, but that's just not quite right yet. So, or rather, the pogo stick. I can't figure out what to do with the pogo stick that connects the rocket to the gun. Like it would make sense that it's metal, and so it's all chipped up in metal color like everything else. But then it makes the whole thing reads from here to here as the same bit, but it's not. It's a bunch of different parts, so I should tone them differently to make that work. So I got to keep thinking about that. Uh, Dan the Man, Beast Boss on foot with Beast Boys and Killrig. Dan, did you join the WOG yet? Need to stop getting more models and start improving my hobby space. Oh, Wookie said, I feel like that's what we should do. It's just not what we want to do, right? Why should I get things like organizers or more brushes or, when I can get more models? Just give me more models. More gray plastic. Hey, Wapo. Thanks for coming to the live stream, man. Nice to see you. Just gonna need the space. Yeah, Keith, you feel me, man? Painting that woolly squig out, that thing's huge. You need the space back on your desk. All right, I knew I had a couple of things I had to touch up the black on here. That's the only reason why I'm touching it, and I got them done, so I'm good there. I think Squiggy's good. He's good. He's good. All right. So I think we're good on this then. J Hugh, hey boss, you think we'll get Uthak and the Xmas detachment? No. The detachments so far are just detachments, no new data sheets. The only one that we're getting an index for with data sheets is going to be Death Watch. So no, Uthak not coming. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Uthak, to be honest with you. There was that whole data sheet controversy thing, but it turned they actually ended up publishing a data sheet of just him in Legends, which is dumb, with points in it, but it is what it is. So I don't know that he's necessarily coming. The model has now also since kind of gone out of ability to buy, so it's not nearly as easy to find anymore. So I think Uthak might actually be stuck in Legends until 11th edition. So Mel, yo, from Aussie land. How you doing down there, man? Always wanted to visit. Lovely, lovely country. Um, War Boss John went there. Very, very jealous of him for having done that. Badger, hobby space is useful. Time spent working on minis is still the best, I guess. I mean, that's the thing, right? It's you got to have the space set up for it so that you can enjoy this. If you can't enjoy this because you don't have the right tools or equipment, or you're in a bad chair, bad position, or whatever, it makes it really difficult. So the point is to work on this enough to where you're not distracted by any of this, and the painting the mini is as enjoyable as possible. That's the trick. Okay, I need this chrome silver. Norn Emissary on Black Friday. Ooh, 25% off Warhammer is hard to pass up. I would do some damage with the 25% off coupon. Let me tell you what. It's 120 just after lunch in South Australia. Nice, man. Or Boston. Maybe you want to drop new field manual in January. Ooh. Ah. Francis, what is your opinion of the two detachments that have dropped so far? The dark one seems meh. We were talking about that a little earlier, Frank. The the detachments seem to be an equal part useful and thematic. The Dark Angels one isn't the best or the most useful as far as competitive rules are concerned. but it does give you an option to build an army differently than the other detachments. And the way that it makes you use Ravenwing and Deathwing and regular Dark Angels together is actually really cool and very on brand. So I think that's what we're going to get with the detachments is you're going to get ones that they're not going to be overpowered, but they're going to be usable and useful, and they will be thematic in ways that like make everybody go, "Oh, hey, that's cool, that's neat." And that's really honestly what you want to see. If they were a bunch of overpowered detachments, people would honestly start crying foul, and rightly so. And also, like, we don't need more power gaming. We don't need more um, crazy rules. What we need is flavor. That's what 10th edition is lacking, is any kind of flavor. Jay at Ian's a Battle did a video on this today, actually, that I agree with him 100%. Like, there's just no flavor to be found in the 40k stuff at the moment in 10th edition. It's been really really bland. Everything's just kind of the same. Like, they're all different names, but it's the same rule or the same, like, it's doing the same thing. There's not actually anything to differentiate the armies really from each other in the ways that they used to. Okay. Let's see. Back to Gunner. Back to Gunner guy. This guy, I think. I gotta figure out what I'm doing with him. Big Mac, what is your take on who wins Usyk versus Fury 2 and why? I'm not sure on that question, George. Fury 2. I don't know what Usyk and Fury 2 are. But let me know what they are, and then I might be able to give you an opinion on that. InfoG always has Warhammer at 20% discount. Black Friday bumped it to 25. Oh man, that'd be really rad. In fact, they're meaning to do a video about this. Back in the day, Games Workshop themselves would do sales, especially for the holidays. Their last big sale is when their 25th anniversary was, which was the year 2000. They did a massive, massive sale, and they should absolutely do one for their 50th anniversary next year, which is less than a month away, right? Yeah. Skeletal Stevo. Yeah, we're just hanging out, having a painting party, trying the live stream on the laptop for the first time. You guys, let me know what you think, how it's going for you. We've got a couple of internet issues, but nothing too terrible. Working on the kill rig tonight, trying to get this thing done. Got the two little riders done. The two guns are getting really, really close. And yeah, because this thing takes up all the space on my model bench. I want it gone, so you can work on some other things and get some stuff done. All right, hope for the Orcs Christmas attachment is Blood Axis centered command. Ooh, Commandos as troops. Ooh, that'd be a really fun one, Frank. I don't know that I've thought about that one as a thing. Deej, 30K gang rise up. Man, I tell you, Deej, if I had more teeth and more time and more money and space and all those things, I would totally be playing 30K right now with the their version of Mechanicum and Imperial Guard, both, because they're both awesome. Warbiker Battle Line Detachment. Yeah, Jehu, that would be cool. That was back in the day, late third edition Codex Armageddon Speed Freaks. You could do some battle line biker tactics. That was a thing. That would be cool to have again. I definitely think a proper Speed Freak army is one of the options that we could get for the new detachment. Yeah, Carl, the shock attack gun should get a lot more flavor. That thing used to be way, way, way cooler than it is right now. It used to do some really crazy, different kind of buffs, or not buffs. The results table. You had this whole results table. One of which was even not only like when you shot the gun, like if things go wrong or bad, you could shoot the gun inside out, and instead of launching the snotling into the enemy, the shock attack gun would suck itself through and back out, and then the Big Mac would end up on the other side of the battlefield with some wounds, and it was quite hilarious. I would absolutely love to have that back. I have no problem whatsoever with my my models having ability to just randomly die in the most terrible, horrible ways because it's hilarious. And that's what 40K needs, is the absurdity and the hilariousness. All right, top tip: Metal Master Metalizer lacquers. You notice how it says buffing on there? So this is a true metallic paint with real metal bits in it. And when you paint it, it's totally flat. And then you can buff it, and it will buff to gloss the more that you buff. So you can actually get really cool different sheens and effects, different levels of matte and gloss out of it. So if you're looking to up your metal game and really make it look like real metal with all the different sheens to it, that is your trick right there. Keep Space Marines out of stuff. Yeah, it. I wonder why GW makes so many different specialty games, some of which really honestly don't sell very well. Underworlds actually sells fantastically, but like Warcry, Warcry doesn't really seem to sell all that well at all. And so I wonder, like, why not be making more of the things you could actually sell than making a bunch of Warcry, right? Like business 101. Give the people what they want. And what they want is more 40K. So sell them more 40K. Seems simple. I don't know. We don't know. So one of my Grats is convinced that he is going to become a billionaire one day. I don't know how, but and he goes around asking everyone what it is they want him to buy for them when he becomes a billionaire, and he is determined that he is going to buy me Games Workshop. So if my Grat ever becomes a billionaire, I will become the new Games Workshop, and then we'll make things happen. Oh, Jacob, 50% off for the 50th birthday. I like that. I'm going to start writing emails. Email campaign to GW, everybody. You guys should have 50% off for your 50th anniversary. That would actually be awesome, to be honest with you. I'd love the crap out of that. I would buy a lot. I would buy a lot. Good evening. Hey, Eric. No, you're not late, man. Good to have you at all. We're trying something new here, seeing if this works, and trying a live stream thing, and yeah, just having fun, hanging out. Mostly, I just wanted to paint. And I figured if I'm painting, I might as well turn on the laptop and see if anybody else wants to paint with me. So I talked about the value readings on these metallic parts just kind of being the same all the way through. So I'm using these metallizers on different various areas to give different values to the metals to make it look more realistic. You see this a lot in scale model building, especially airplanes, like World War II planes that are all aluminum. The model builders will paint the aluminum or the metal bits all different varying shades of it. Because if you ever look at a real airplane, it's not uniform. All the aluminum isn't the exact same tone. So that's what you want to do on your model as well to make it work. Any thoughts on that the Grot tanks might come back? Rectopus, as much as I want them to, I don't think they are. Forge World is definitely changing to a everything Forge World is going to be big. And if it's not big, then it's not going to be Forge World. Hold on a second. Sorry, the Grats are going to have some story time out there, and I didn't want to interrupt them from the story time. So let them have their time there while we have our time here. Let's see. Solar Auxilia. Yeah, Solar Auxilia. That's it. Those things are so rad. Actually doing Horus Heresy Blood Angels exclusively in 25. Dude, that sounds like a sweet project. Famously, that's where my Beast Snaga army came from. I was working on a firstborn Blood Angels army, and I was converting it all to Horus Heresy, and it was turning out really, really nice until I figured out / remembered that Blood Angels and the Horus Heresy didn't have Deathwing, or not Deathwing, you know what I mean? Death Company. And my favorite thing about Blood Angels is that there is Death Company, these black armored Marines shouting Horus and generally running amok around the battlefield. And if I couldn't have those, why the heck was I doing a Blood Angel army? So I sold that army on eBay, and those proceeds are what I used to buy the Beast Snaga Stampede box so that I could do this army. So, yes, still love Blood Angels. Still would like to do maybe an army of them one day. I actually really like Flesh Terrors. I think if I could really, really, really do what I wanted, I would have a 40k Flesh Terrors army as one of my many army options. Let's see. So yeah, again, just using these metallizers on different random various areas to make it look much more realistic to be different chunks of metal. Wow, that one helps. What did I miss there? Hey, Jordan. Hey, Buzzswan. Frank, any ETA on when you'll need Argus for October prices? Good question. Details right here. So I made a couple of changes. Haven't talked about them online yet. You guys that are on Discord saw one of the other people has made a John Deere riff that was John Squig, and had asked for it to be included on the decal sheets. So it is being included. So I had to make some art changes for that. My goal is to get everything finalized this weekend and get everybody's orders in so I can figure out how many of each sheet to print, and then start mailing the orders out literally next week. So you guys should be hearing from me this weekend on here's the final draft of what everything looks like. Tell me how many you want so I can print them, and then as I get them printed, be able to start shipping them out. The thing that's going to be the hardest part, honestly, is once they are printed, remember that they need to be clear coated. The weather, obviously, right now is cold, and the clear coat tends to not work that great in cold. So we might have some weather-related delays, but my goal is to get the decals to everyone by Squigmas. That's the goal, is Squigmas. So yeah, hopefully addresses next week. Armstrong, done painting for today. Working on cast terminators for side. Oh, nice. Our tank bust is going to kill team. Yep. Enjoying the live stream, painting around with it. Jacob, what are you painting, buddy? And then my paint scheme on work gun recipe. Okay. My gun recipe is super duper simple. First of all, remember that they are base coated that rusty red color or red brown color, kind of very similar to this, but that's spray paint. Actually, you can really see it here on the kill rig. There's some bear right there, the kind of rusty reddish orange color. That is my base color. And then what I do is I do a very heavy dry brush / wet dry brush of lead belcher. So put the lead belcher on there. And then I do my little orange details and any other touch-ups like that. And then I sponge. So it's literal sponge. You take a chunk of sponge like this, closed cell foam. What I do is I get the cheap painting brushes and kind of rip and cut the foam off of these. And you dip this in metallic chrome silver, and you sponge that onto the weapons, and it makes them look like chips of paint. And you get, again, cleaner lighting here. Can we, there we go. And you get this look right here. The other thing you could do is, if you want to add a little bit of variety to it, is use a little bit of shade in the metal. So like this one's been shaded with a blue to kind of make it look like a cooler metal. See it right there. Play around with some of the shades very, very lightly in the metal helps sell the effect quite a bit too. Wait, is that why it's the red ones? Yeah, that's so. If you want to paint faster, throw away your paintbrush, buy red paintbrushes, and then your paint jobs go quicker. I'm telling you, it works. You guys see how slow I'm painting with this brush? Got that red section done really fast. Calvin, working on a stomp a Wreck-It using infinities. Oh, nice, buddy. You'll have to throw some pictures up on the Discord so we can see that. Gotta love a Stompa. Gotta love a Stompa. All right, my metalizer here is drying because I'm yapping so much. That's the one thing about lacquers is they do dry pretty fast, faster even than water-based acrylics. So keep that in mind if you're going to use these lacquer paints. You don't have a whole lot of time to work with them. But on the other hand, if you're just trying to get the paint down, it's nice to just get the paint down. All right, I think we're good on that color. Let's grab a different one and go from there. I'm doing a custom Warboss Grim School from the first Space Marine game. Oh, that's a good question. Let's see. The other thing about lacquers is, of course, you need to use lacquer thinner to clean your lacquer thinner. Clean your brush. Also, I wouldn't use any brush you're going to use lacquer on or true metallics. Don't use for anything else because it will absolutely positively get into your other paint and completely destroy it. So, again, you can never have too many paintbrushes laying around. Having different brushes for different things is definitely a good move. There we go. Okay. Now what? You know what? We just talked about sponging. Let's do some sponging. I think that's where we're at. I'm going to do some sponging because I'm ready for it. So again, rip that off. Use right there. Holy smokes, I missed a whole bunch. Man, you guys are going crazy over here. Cavish Jr., I'm looking at starting new army, X-Men Orc army. It would be Eldari or Death Guard or Space Marines. Looking to play something that play different. Ooh. Okay, so Catfish Jr., Omnisci Sphinx. What are your orcs set up as? Do you have a bunch of close combat orcs, or do you have a bunch of DACA orcs? So play the opposite of that. So if you got a bunch of close combat orcs, you're not going to want to play Blood Angels, Space Wolves, or Black Templar because they're going to play exactly like close combat orcs. If you've got DACA orcs, then they're the perfect foil. Death Guard are very tough, very slow. So if you got like a Green Tide, you don't have a bunch of trucks or anything like that, they're going to play a little similar. Eldari are going to play very, very, very different, especially if you do lots of shooting or lots of movement. They're just way more maneuverable than orcs are in general. Plus, the painting style is going to be completely the opposite. You're going to want like the cleanest, brightest paint scheme on your Eldari versus your Mad Max looking orcs. So that'd be my go-to. Frank working on some mandrakes. Nice. Jacob batch painting 150 boys. Okay, try it out, man. Try it out. Yeah, guns should be quick and easy and simple. Maybe knock it down with a little bit of Nuln oil if you really need some extra, bringing it down a notch. But yeah, local crusade group is sucking me away from working on my orcs. Eldari pivoted to Unari, which then became the start of Drakari army. Isn't that funny how that happens? Put some Rex of bracket earlier today. Oh, Calvin, thanks, man. I'll have to check that out on the Discord. So everybody, Calvin's got his picks of Wreck-It up there on the Discord. Scam likely. Recently came across your stuff while trying to find kit bashing vids. Made a death jar out of your paint pot. Nice. Currently working on some death copters. Nice. Awesome, Scam. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, kit bashing is what I'm all about. That's why it's hard to find motivation to paint because I'd rather just build more contraptions because that's what I do. But I have two armies, orcs, and who else but Black Templar? Helzridge definitely good sword. Armstrong, absolutely, man. So I have Black Templar. They're buried in the closet. Eventually, one day, I want to build and paint them, and all in the same basing scheme as my orcs, so that they can have the traditional Armageddon battles against each other. Very much looking forward to that. Okay, so have you looked into Porter Hammer's Horde mode? I have. Again, don't get to play very often, so tend not to do things. But that one I've definitely heard. Want to give it a shot. Want to give it a try. Okay. Top tip when you're sponging: the first couple of sponge hits are going to be much thicker than the rest. So do your biggest armor pieces with the sponge effect first before you get down into the smaller stuff. Bad Moon Melee Orcs. Green Tide and War Tide. Okay, so I'm sorry, your orcs then are going to play because they are melee, and you do have a lot of bodies. They're going to play a lot like Black Templars, Space Wolves, or Blood Angels. So if you want something that plays differently, I wouldn't run those. Death Guard might, especially if you lean in on the shooting and the psychic in the Death Guard. They might give you what you're looking for. Otherwise, like I said, I would go Eldari. Um, and yeah, just do some shooting stuff with them, shooting and movement and shooting. And I think you would find them quite enjoyable and different. All right, put the orange on that. So these guys are done. I'm gonna go back and do that. Let's see. Chippy. Yeah. Hold on, I'm concentrating. I'm trying to chip the paint in the right places here. Chippy. So one of the reasons why orange is the accent color on my orcs is that the orange and silver paint chips like works so honking well. I just love it. Because they weren't always orange. Originally, uh, my orc skin was all very much a lime green color, and the orcs were kind of goth style, so black and white checks everywhere. Um, and then later on, did a lot of red as I got into the speed buggies, and then switched to the orange. Take a look at it. Very nice. Ah. He's big thinking. Jacob, is it practical to run 3 dreads? I don't know. If you're running dread mob, yeah. If not, so I have 3 dreads. I have not run 3 dreads in a very long time. In fact, I think only 2 of my dreads are actually built and painted at the moment. Um, the hard part with dreads is they really toned down how good they were in close combat. Back when you got a bunch of attacks for 3 claws, they were amazing. And then they took all those attacks away, and their shooting is just kind of god awful. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to take them for shooting unless you're doing something really, really crazy like 4 custom Mega Blasters and just eat the mortals. Um, but that becomes a point sink into, you know, something that could be better used for other things. So um, yeah, I don't know. It depends. It depends. It depends on your loadout. It depends on your detachment. It depends on what you're trying to do. The bigger the model bases are, the harder they are to be useful in the game. Um, and frankly, a hunter rate is 150 points, and a death dread is what, like 135 these days. I would take this for 15 more points all day, every day. So yeah, the death dreads just kind of aren't in a great spot at the moment. Mine kind of lives exclusively on the shelf at the moment. Um, so yeah, definitely a thing. Way too much paint on that one. Hold on. Yeah, too much paint on my sponge and really made that one look not so great. But that's okay because they're orcs, and if one is extra chippy, it's fine. It still works. My favorite is actually when the paint is almost dry and you really have to like press on it to get the chips. That's when you're in the sweet spot and it becomes really um, enjoyable to do the chipping because you can kind of spot chip it wherever you want with however much force or however like many chips you want. The other thing I do is I do the chipping anywhere where feet would be walking around a lot because that would chip a lot in real life. Um, it makes it look very, very realistic. I already got all those. Oh, this thing. Need to chip this up. Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, so like this thing, man. Games Workshop did a terrible job painting this on their kill rig. They painted it white to make it look like a real skull. It's not a real skull. It's made of metal. Try to get you some better lighting. But it looks so much better as the metal that it is instead of trying to make it look like a skull. It's really weird. Okay, put that back together. How are we doing? New to 40K, got into tab because the mech suits, but ended up going to Big Chicken Croots. March, I know it just happened. Hey, for when that happens, man. I love the crew and I love the tab battle suits. I love them both. In fact, the crew army right now, if you guys don't have a crew army box, I would highly suggest you pick it up before it goes out of stock. Because right now they are stupid cheap. Stupid cheap. Um, very, very much would not mind getting my hands on one of those. Um, very, very good opportunity. Okay, where are we at? I think we're on Squiggy. I need to paint his tongue inside of his mouth. I think that's where I'm at in there. And then he'll be good. So let's get us maybe some Epsom red. Jordan, is this something you may be doing regularly? Dope to plan to lock into paint mode when you start the stream. You know, I would love to, man. My schedule is so crazy. I work full time. I go to college full time. I'm in grad school, and I'm raising 4 kids. So I honestly don't have a lot of time, and then I spend it doing really dumb things like making videos for the internet. um, but I would love to lock in a streaming schedule, and yeah, that would be super rad. I would enjoy the heck out of that. So yeah, if that's something you guys would all like to see, definitely let me know, and I'd be happy to try to get that figured out and do something on the regular where you know it will always be happening at that date and time. Octopus. Been painting orcs exclusively for over a year, shifting to word bearers, sisters, and inquisitors. Nice. Nice indeed. One of my good buddies here, Fred, Warboss Fred, he's got a word bearers chaos army that is like super rad. I love his word bearers. Okay, got his tongue painted really bright red. Evil Sun Scarlet Red, in fact. Gotta get the rest of the inside of the mouth a duller color, I think, though. Calvin. Most of my orcs have red shirts when they're all Evil Suns into. Star Trek red shirts go fast. Red is on everything. I like it. I like it. Ugh. Armstrong, orcs are goths, partial to black. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, goths just look good, period. And then, yeah, colorblind is definitely a thing. I am not colorblind, but I have worked with a number of painters who are, and definitely talking about the color theory for them and how they paint um, is a super interesting conversation. Um, Actually, in a past life, I was a disability management specialist when I was doing mental health counseling. It was like, that was my big thing, was working with different disabilities. And yeah, you do art therapy with people that were visually impaired, colorblind, partially blind, all sorts of things. And yeah, the different painting styles to come up with and different um, ways to work with different abilities was something actually really fun and really cool. Um, I tell this story to other people a lot. I don't know that I've ever mentioned it to you guys. My aunt um, worked with disabled children when I was a child. That was her job, and specifically blind kids. And she used to tell this wonderful story that she would teach colors to kids who are blind from birth. They have no idea what colors is. And one of her kids had a favorite color, and his favorite color was yellow because in her teaching colors to them, she described the sun as yellow, and he loved the warmth of the sunshine. And so to him, like that feeling, that warmth feeling, made it his favorite color. And I think that that's just the coolest story in the world. You don't even have to see yellow to appreciate yellow, to love yellow, or any other color for that matter. So yeah, it's really cool. Uh, Millennial Minute Man, yeah, Father Four works overnights, man. Yeah, you feel me, buddy. Four grots is way too many grots. Love them all, but man, it is a lot. It is an absolute lot. All right, little wire down here I've been missing. Get some black on that. So that blends in there. Like to watch more live streams, get me into the painting mood. All right, Keith, you know what? If you guys are into it, I will do live streams. Absolutely, for sure. I mean, shoot, two of you guys threw tips out tonight, and I think that's more money than a video usually makes too. So maybe I should be doing more live streams. Oh man, chat is fire tonight. I had no idea live streams were so much fun. It's been a hot minute since I've done one. What do we got on here? Unspice thinks if you could bring back one model unit from the Orc army, what would it be? Oh, 1,000,000% looted tank. Don't even have to think about it. Looted tank was not only a unit. Um, GW used to sell an actual upgrade sprue for us. You would buy a Imperial Guard Lehman Russ or a Space Marine Predator or whatever, but you would actually buy this upgrade sprue to turn it into an Orc looted vehicle, and it had like different main guns for the Lehman Russ that were Orc guns, and the gunner for the turret, and then it'd be a big shooter on it, or a twin barrel shooter or something instead of like a storm bolter. For sure, looted tank, 1,000%. We need looted tank back. That one never should have left. Looted tank is definitely my answer on that. Man, this got these weird, not like ropes, but they have like, I don't know, something like binding things together. And it just kind of throws off the look of what I'm going for. So I've been painting those bindings black. I don't know why. I don't know what the black is signifying, but just from a color theory perspective, it makes the metal that it's holding pop a lot more. So that's what I'm doing, is the black. That seems to be helping-ish for now, making it look more pleasing to me. Scanlan, almost finished my orc pile of shame, planning on getting shock jump tracks to commandos in the truck for Squigmas. Nice, that'd be a good haul. Commandos is one of my absolute favorite kits right now. Truck is an all-time classic. You can never go wrong with a truck. And the Shock Jump Dragsta I love. In fact, the Shock Jump Dragsta and Custom Booster Blasta were the two models that got me back into 40K and specifically back into orcs. Love those models. Absolutely love them. Also, don't know what happened to other orc content streamers. They seem to have been absent for a while. Man, I got to tell you, YouTube is tough. I feel for everyone that makes this their main gig or like their or trying to make like real deal income out of it. I talked about it a little bit on my results video from October, but um, YouTube doesn't pay for squat. It's not like back in the day in before 2020 or even during 2020. There were all these content makers and people were paying for ads. The ad revenue is about a quarter of what it was. So if your video got 10,000 views in 2020, um, if it paid you $100 back then for all those views, today it would only pay you 25. The other thing is you don't see that money right away. It's a month or two before they actually send it to you. And they're always at different times and they're changing things constantly. So it's really difficult to gauge when that stuff is coming, when you can expect it, when you can, so it's hard to pay bills by. What I do, like I said, I work full time. That pays the bills. My YouTube income, so to say, it ain't much of an income. Um, but I appreciate all of it because what I do is I use it to buy this stuff so that I can make more content for you guys. So basically, all of my hobby dollars comes from doing the YouTube stuff, and I do that on purpose because um, it's a fatherly guilt thing. You're trying to provide for your family as best you can, and I'd rather buy my kids Warhammer and let them paint and enjoy and whatnot, and not spend money on myself. But if I'm doing it this way, it's almost like a business expense. Not that I'm a business, but like that's the mindset that I see from it is if the funding for the hobby is coming from the YouTube, then the YouTube is paying for the hobby to make more YouTube, and it makes it like this positive circle, right? But yeah, I think that's why you're seeing a lot of content, a lot of people dropping off of YouTube or becoming, I don't want to say beggars, but like becoming like way more overt about it. You saw so like not Midwinter Minis. Who are the guys out of Australia? Tabletop Time. Tabletop Time recently almost went under, but they're running a studio. They're paying 3 to 4 staff, and even if they're not full time, like 3 to 4 part time wages is still a lot of wages. Um, Things like that. You just see it with a lot of these different channels. They're trying to run real deal businesses, and frankly, YouTube isn't enough to be a real deal business. It just isn't. If you're somebody like, oh, who is it? The guy and the couple in England that have the hobby store, that their YouTube is basically a way to advertise their hobby store. And so like their sponsored video, like get your 15% off your GW or whatever is just them as their hobby store. Like that works because their income is really from the hobby store, and um, the YouTube is advertising for it, but it's not the actual fundage. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think you're going to see a lot more content providers, content creators go away. like I said, I'm a voracious YouTube watcher. My day job, I basically back into counting things, so I don't actually interact with people much. I I sit on a computer and type numbers all day, so I can have YouTube going pretty much 24/7 in the background when I'm at work. So I watch a ton of stuff, and being a car person, I watch a ton of car channels, and a bunch of them are disappearing due to these things. And other hobby channels. You guys know I'm into a ton of hobbies. I do. I got a couple of guitars and some watches and diecast cars and models. Right, we talk about models all the time. And every hobby space, every single space, is seeing drastic declines in YouTube content creators because they can't make a living doing it. And if you can't make a living doing it, they go get a real job. They don't have time to actually do these things because it takes a lot of time. It takes a ton of time to make videos, make content, and do live streaming and stuff. So, oh man, I talked way too long, and there are a ton of questions. All right, let me try to get through them. Calvin, rewatching your painting videos as I paint, even if it's only for 10 minutes. Videos of us YouTube. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that. And yeah, I think that watching painting videos while painting is a great thing. I have a whole playlist of like my favorite videos that I've seen. There's like oh, Goobertown Hobbies, his 24-hour Gloom Spike Gets is a really good one. And then a bunch of Age of Squidmar. He's got a bunch of great painting ones. So yeah, I have this playlist, and whenever I'm painting, if I'm not live streaming, I've got that going on in the background. So yeah, totally cool that you're watching mine. That's awesome. Scale likely thoughts on color schemes. For what? For orcs? For Eldar? Space Marines? Orange. My answer is orange. Millennial Minuteman, working on a Space Wolf successor is my main army, but building kill teams in an effort to get the two old spoons. Now, see, that is a great idea. Doing kill team with your kids, and they can paint a kill team and figure out whether or not they like that range before doing a whole 40k army is super smart. I wish I would have done that instead of straight into 40k. They would have, I think they would have liked Kill Team a lot more, just from a bunch of perspectives. One, because they can get more teams, but also it's hard for kids to run a game. You think about even like 1,000-point army, you're going to have what, 8-9 units on the board. That's a lot to keep track of, right? Kill Team, you've got what, 5 to 12 models total. That's a lot easier for a kid to keep track of. So yeah, definitely think I need to be doing a lot more Kill Team, a lot less 40k. Carl, I'm colorblind for every miniature. I have a Word file logging all the paints used for each part and each layer. I like painting yellow the most. That's cool that yellow is your favorite to paint. That's odd. Rectopus, Sister's Army is going to have a Mardi Gras. Oh, that's fun. Oh, that's really fun. I want to see that. I've been to New Orleans during Mardi Gras. That's really cool. I want to see that. I just got the one. He's a little much. I'm telling you, man, one kid is too many. They're just, I love them. I love them to death. They're a lot. Hells yeah. Oh man, Millennial. 4 boys, 2 to 11. Oof, yeah, you definitely got some grots, man. Jacob, loving the live streams. Gotta have more. You got it, man. I will do it. Looted tank. Yep. I'm glad everyone agrees. See, this is why when my son makes $1 billion and buys me Games Workshop, it'll work. Because I know what the people want. The people want looted tanks. Dennis, ever make something completely out of empty sprues? Yes, but only terrain. I'm not talented enough. There's that guy that made like the sprue. He made an entire army out of sprues. And they looked the part. They were 100% on point. I'm not that talented, but I have made terrain out of sprues before. Must be on the same orky wavelength. Well, yeah, all orcs think alike. So as soon as one of us thought looted tank, we all thought looted tank. I contrast color schemes and avoid grim dark just because of how visible it is to me when I paint. Yeah, absolutely. Don't paint anything without hitting a certain mark. Oh, Blissful Badger. Okay, you're talking about payment on YouTube. Okay, so your channel has to have 1,000 subscribers and so many hours of watch time before getting monetized. And then once you're monetized, there is there's different rates depending on how well you do. So, like when I did October, when I did 31 videos in 31 days, I got so many views aggregated over so much time that it moved me up a monetization level. So I got paid more per ad than I used to simply because of that metric move. And so it's all, dude, these metrics, if you wanted to get like super data nerdy, their metrics are insane. And that the one thing I will give YouTube is they give them all to you. They give you all the metrics. They tell you what everything is, but you have to be smart enough to dive into it and really like play to it then and go, oh, okay, I need to upload more content to move this number, this particular metric, you know. So for example, sometimes it's watch time total, like, okay, how many hours? Sometimes it's watch time percentage. So if I put out an hour long painting tutorial and people only watch 20 minutes of it, my watch time percentage is terrible, even though they got 20 minutes of screen time. Versus if I put out a 20-minute video and people watch 10 minutes of it, my percentage is better because they've watched 50% of the video instead of 20% of the video, even though it's less watch time. So there's all sorts of different metrics like that. And they do tell them to you, you really have to dive in because there's so much going on. If you ever want to go over your analytics, I'm happy to do a one-on-one with you on that. Jordan got 3,000 points at Dark Angels to finish up, just scooped up Inner Circle. Nice. That Inner Circle Task Force is a choice box. Still have Indominus. We're not going to talk about my Indominus minis. I don't have any Indominus minis at all. No, nothing. Overnight gives me hours of YouTube listening. Nice. Yeah, it'd be great. Do you see bolt action? You're right. Old school. No, dude, old school Acadians. Old school Acadians. No knee pads on these babies. Lots of conversions on them, but very much all old school Acadians. And they are full plastic. So my Imperial Guard Army, I've got a couple of Valhallan squads. That was my favorite one back in the day. And then I've got one squad of Armageddon Steel Legion, and then a bunch of vehicles and a bunch of these plastic Cadians because these guys were really cheap for a while. And I was able to buy a bunch and do a bunch of kit bashing and make a whole company. But now that Krieg is coming out, I'm definitely switching to Krieg, and these guys are probably going to get sold. Keith, if I had the knowledge to do it as a labor of love, but I'm pretty much streaming impaired. Man, Keith, the technology is honestly the hardest part for me. Not that I'm like technologically illiterate or anything like that. It's just doing the tech to film and edit and post and all that kind of stuff. It's just not my realm. I'm not an audiovisual guy. I'm not big into cameras. I'm not big into editing. I'm not big into software in that way. So like it's just really difficult for me to do that, and it's just a hard thing, period. It's a hard thing to get into. I think that's why so many channels, they have somebody that's like the face that does the presenting and the on-camera stuff, and then they have somebody that's behind the scenes that does all of the editing and whatnot. And I mean, I totally get it. If I ever made like real money on YouTube, I would totally hire an editor to do all that back end stuff because I like being the face, I like being the person talking to the camera, doing the projects. But I don't want to be the one doing the editing because I'm just not any good at it. Let's see. Painting while painting. Oh, hold on a sec for me, guys. Should go to bed too? All right, thanks everyone. Sending grats to bed. Painting while painting recreates the being in a game store painting with friends. Yeah, absolutely, man. I didn't paint in a game store a lot as a younger person, mostly because when I grew up, my game store was about an hour away from my house, so it wasn't practical. But there was a hot minute when I was in the service that I lived maybe a 10-minute walk from my game store. And yeah, I'd be there literally every night painting with whoever came in the store, chatting with stores, people playing games, whatever. And yeah, definitely miss that kind of camaraderie. It was really cool to have that. Frank, if we could collab with any wargaming content creator, who would it be? What would it be? What do you suggest this subject collab? So, I don't know if you missed this earlier. Wah Tactics and I are going to be doing a live stream together on his channel, talking about what our predictions are for the new orc detachment and another bonus thing. So definitely check that out. So I am doing that one. If I could do anything to somebody, I would do Jay from Eon's Battle, because I think he's like a half my age version of me that actually has the time and space to do nothing but Warhammer. I'm very jealous of that ability. But his army painting challenge with Miniac has been really, really fun. I would love to do that with Jay. I would love to do an army paint off with him. I think that would be a heck of a lot of fun. So yeah, if I could do anything, that'd be the one. Blissful Badger, yeah, I have the watch time, and yet the people watching the things is low. Subs is low, barely growing. It's funny to see what works and what doesn't. Yeah, Badger, I tell you, so and a lot of you guys know this. I have another YouTube channel that I started many, many, many years ago that's all about cars. And it had a spurt of growth in 2019, actually, before the pandemic hit. And 2020 was actually really, really hard for it, because car stuff, you got to be able to go do car things, right? And so that channel has been kind of stalled since COVID. Um, but yeah, the different videos and the things that you don't think are going to do well that hit the algorithm, and then the things that you really put all of your love and effort into just kind of fall flat. A big example of that is the Every Kit is an Orc kit. There was a ton of work into that video, a ton of work, getting everything set up with Mindtaker, planning everything. I genuinely didn't know what I was going to model I was going to get to build. And so like that was really anxious, and like doing all of the conversion work itself, filming everything, editing it, putting it out there. And I mean, it's done okay, but the amount of work compared to what I got out of it was not great. I mean, it barely got any more views than a talking head video, which is where I turned the camera on and just talked for 20 minutes. And that was a lot less labor intensive, you know what I mean? So yeah, you never know what's going to hit. Millennial, the better thing with hobbying YouTube would be trying to kill the cost of hobbying with sponsored products. That's a great point, Millennial. I've had a dozen plus companies come to me for sponsored videos. I've turned most of them down. I'm not ever going to do a sponsored thing that I don't actually use myself. So like Mindtaker, right? They're one of my friendly local game stores. I love them. I use my own money there. Obviously, I would do a video with them. There was Only Crates. I'd done one or two with them. I genuinely like their service. I have a 3D printer. I hate it. It's a whole nother hobby. I don't have time, space for a whole nother hobby. The idea that you can have somebody do it for you and send you the done minis, and they're actually done to quality, really good. So like I've done something with them. But like I get these ones from like these really bad companies overseas that like they'll make like the worst knockoff brushes in the world, or like their paint is clearly like repackaged somebody else's paint, or they want me to do like some funky dust light. I don't want to do any of that. Like, I'm not in this for the money. This isn't my income. I don't need to do sponsored videos. So if you ever see me doing a video sponsored by somebody, it's because it's something I actually personally like use and believe in. And I'm never going to stray from that. And I do the same thing with my car channel. I've had, again, dozens of opportunities to work with people in the car channel. But if I'm not going to bolt your part on my car without your sponsorship, I'm not going to do it with it. And that's definitely, you see that in certain YouTube channels that hold to that line. Is really like, those are the channels I tend to watch all the time, and the ones that like they'll run an ad for whatever. Yeah, you tend to stop watching them, you know. Jay from EOB, yes, Jordan, exactly like Jay and Nick. I need a Nick to my Jay for sure, because yeah, I love doing the on camera stuff, which is weird because I'm actually like a really shy person in real life. But for some reason this works. But yeah, I don't want the behind the scenes stuff at all. That's what I do all day for work, is the behind the scenes stuff. I don't want to do that for my fun hobby. I think that makes sense. Kelvin, 1,000 points of old IG, and the orcs have been looting most of their stuff last. Wait, orcs don't loot stuff from Imperial Guard armies. I don't know what you're talking about. Why would we loot things from Imperial Guard armies? for those of you that didn't see that Thanksgiving video, that is a Lehman Russ that I got used for my taker that I was going to put in my Imperial Guard army. But then when I look closer at it, it's really, really rough. And the orcs are looting it instead. So my orcs stole it, and that's going to become my new looted tank. Editing my videos, my kit bashing now. Planning to try to get stuff uploaded around Christmas off work. All right. Have a great night, Melino. Thanks for hanging out. Jordan, try and put a bug in his ear. Just hit him in every comment section. That'd be cool. I actually got Rogue Hobbies. They did a video on her favorite painting YouTubers, and there was a comment about like you should do a modeling one, and I had thrown in my comment of that's like my new life goal is to be on the top 10 list of YouTube channels for modeling. And not only did I get a like from Luis, I got a heart. So maybe, just maybe, I'll end up on a Rogue Hobbies one day doing some crazy orc kit bashing, because that would be rad. Because that's what I love. Like, painting's fun, but kit bashing is where it's at. I tried to do print a thing, very low success. Yeah, Keith, I feel like I mean, now granted, mine is an FDM, it's not a resin. Very different things, and it's old. It's an Ender 3 from, again, 2020 when we were all doing indoor hobbies. I made some decent terrain with it, and I think I like it for terrain, those bigger things. But when it comes to minis, I just like kit bashing so much that the idea of printing something out and it's already done, like for me, the kit bashing, like building the model is the joy. Like I'd rather build my own model and then stick it in a 3D painter and have the machine paint it. That's what I would want, is a 3D painter. I could do the kit bash, drop this in the top, it's at the bottom all painted. That's your $1 million idea. Oh, Rectopus, gonna try to play Combat Patrol for my first time this weekend. Pretty excited. Nice. Using last year's Orc CP. That should be a good time. The Combat Patrol from the old CP is a good one. You should have a great time with that. So enjoy that game, Rectopus. I'm gonna say I love it when Katie said let the orc throw to the warp as I see a whole heart of orc flying by, right? To your goal, VinciCon? No, I mean, I like all those guys. Don't get me wrong. I watch all their channels. I watch the VinciCon stuff. It'd be super fun to be on Trapped Under Plastic. That would definitely be a hobby goal. But those guys are way into the painting, and I'm just not way into the painting. I'm way into the building. And so if they ever wanted to learn how to kit bash, I think that's where I would come in. Is like Miniac just had somebody on teaching him how to sculpt. And so if he ever wanted someone to teach him how to kit bash, that'd be my jam. I'm used to make specialized bits, right? Yeah, Keith, exactly. I'd print me some bits. Like I would print some bits like a madman, but I don't want to print a whole model. That's not my jam. That's what Jay always says. It doesn't give me my jam. Kevin, I have to put on some of my looted vehicles on Discord. Old kit. Oh heck yeah, looted vehicles for sure. Let's get it on. Yeah. So I have a looted tank, but my old looted tank from back in the day that was a real looted tank got sold with the portion of my army that disappeared. My current looted tank that's in my collection that you've seen on a couple of videos is a World War II's 1/35th scale model that I turned into a looted tank, which I think works great. But it looks very orky. It looks more like an orc tank than a looted tank. And what I really want to build is a looted tank. So that's what the Lehman Ross is going to become, is a looted tank. Different tanks. So I'll have an orc tank and a looted tank. All right. Man, we've been going on almost 2 hours now. I've gotten quite a bit of painting. Not quite a bit. I've gotten some painting done. The two stick guys, they are done. Our gunner is looking much closer to done. I'm still not totally happy with it. There's still a couple washes on. I think that's what I need. Let's see. Let's get us some. You know what? When in doubt, null oil, right? That's the secret trick. Where is my big old thing of null oil? Let's put some null oil on this and see how that looks. So I think that's my problem. Is it just I've got too much bright metal going on, and down in the cracks needs to be more dark. So let's do that. Let's darken this up. I did do quite a bit of that metallizer to get some different shades going, and that seemed to help. Yeah, this is cutting it down quite a bit. I like that. I like where this is going. So in the scale modeling world, this is called post shading. What I'm doing is I'm putting the null oil on the bottom surfaces, so that then when it's right set up, it accentuates the natural shadow from real light, and so it reads from your eye as being more realistic, because you're adding fake shadow to it, much like highlighting, like your edge highlights and stuff adds fake highlights, um, or fake sunshine. This adds fake shadows, so it's called post shading. If you guys ever really, really, really want to get better at miniature painting and modeling in general, I would check out the scale model stuff. Um, there's a magazine called Fine Scale Modeler, um, that is fantastic, and there's a bunch of forums out there for it. The big major club is called IPMS, the International Plastic Modeler Society. They do fantastic uh, shows, giant conventions. Um, I've actually won a number of awards at IPMS shows over the years. But you can learn all sorts of things. Like if you really, 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 truly want to learn about shading and getting um, good value in different, like of the same color, right? Go look at and go talk to scale modelers that do armor, that do tanks. They will have, I kid you not, 100 shades of OD green and use all 100 of them on a model and do crazy stuff. They do this thing called dot filtering, where when they paint the model, they'll paint the green, right? And then they'll put like random dots of like bright yellow and bright red on it, and then like oil it in. It's mind blowing. It works. It looks really, really cool. They know what they're doing. If you really want to break some heads with your painting, go do some scale modeling stuff and then bring those skills back to Warhammer, and you'd be shocked. That's where a lot of my weathering techniques come from. My chipping, and my um, using the powders, the weathering powders that I've showed you guys a bunch of times. All that kind of stuff, the post shading, all of that stuff I learned at scale modeling, and all of it definitely makes my orcs look way cooler than they actually are, because people just don't do that. I mean, they think grimdark is you throw a sepia wash on everything and boom, you're done, and that's not enough. That's not enough. That's not good enough. It doesn't do the same thing. You can do better. So yeah, just shade in the other underside of this to accentuate these shadows, give more value to the metal so that you get different varieties of look. Yeah, I'm liking that a lot better. Looking good, looking really good. I think I'm gonna touch the rig much. I'm gonna try to get the guys done. I do need to work on Squeaky a lot more though. He needs mo. Granted, he's going to be glued underneath this thing and on top of the base. You're not going to see much of him, but I do want him to look all right. I almost lost the null oil. Close that up for the night. Ah, Keith, kit bashing is my thing. Yep, we'll exclude off orc ball tank. Oh, that's fun. I like that idea. This is more projects started than finished. Yep. I know how that goes. I know how that goes. Because it made all my looted vehicles easy to switch back to IG. Oh no, Calvin, that's smart. That's one thing that's cool about the new kits coming with like multiple turrets and things like that, is you could build one turret for your IG and then another turret for your orcs, and like literally just pop the turret on and off, right? And be able to turn it into a looted tank or not. That'd be cool. That'd be really fun. I like the sound of that. Quiet Watson's a crouch. Thanks, Steve. Complete Commander EDH. So I don't know Commander ED. I'm guessing that's Magic the Gathering Commander. I used to play Magic way back in the day. Oh god, this is gonna date me again. Um, I bought packs of Beta when Beta was new. Um, Antiquities was where I really got started, and a lot of Ice Age. Most of you have no idea what any of those words mean, and that's okay. But yeah, I did a lot of Magic back in the day. Used to do the Friday Night Magic tournaments and things like that. I got out of it around probably 20 years ago now. Oh, no, probably more like 2008, more like 15, about 15, between 15 and 20 years ago. I got out of it, and I don't understand Commander or any of the other formats or anything like that anymore. But I would totally play it again. In fact, it'd be fun to get the Grots to play. All right. All right, guys. It has been 2 hours. My nerve damage is now taking effect, and I'm dropping everything I'm holding, so I'm not going to get any more painting done tonight. My throat hurts from talking so much. So I think we're going to call it here. That was a really successful live stream. I thought nobody was going to show up, and I turned it off after 15 minutes and paint for maybe 15 more and call it a night. And we ended up having 2 hours of a whole lot of fun together. I really appreciate each and every one of you. This was a super fun stream. If you liked it and enjoyed it, definitely let me know and encourage me to do some more. And yeah, we'll see about making this a regularly scheduled thing. And yeah, we can have some fun talking Warhammer and getting some things like that. And yeah, go from there. Uh, Rectopus Combat Patrol Magazine. Absolutely. If you can get it, you should. I think it's a great way to get into the hobby and a great way to grow your collection at a reasonable pace. I would love to get it for the Grots. I still think they're a little young yet to get that much Warhammer that fast. So maybe in a couple of years when they're more like 15, 16, we'll get them whenever the magazine is out then. Badger, see you on the next one. Jordan, see you on the next one. Steve, see you on the next one. Calvin, see you on the next one. Good night, everybody. Until next time. Walk on!